USC opened spring camp on Tuesday. It was a pretty big day. They're just getting started. A lot happening, so stick around.
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, whatever platform you want to download this podcast, it's always going to be free. I'm always going to appreciate your support. All right, there's a lot going on. So grab your favorite beverage, whatever, kick back, relax, and here we go. Tuesday, USC opened up spring camp, March 25th. It was a really good day to be a Trojan. I mean, every day is a good day to be a Trojan, but when the new year comes strolling in, kind of cranks up a notch a little bit, right? Happy New Year was the greeting du jour at practice. Yeah, everyone was, Happy New Year. Fight on. Happy New Year. Welcome back. So my everydayers who have been around know that I'm kind of like a kid in the candy store for opening day, whether it's spring camp, fall camp, game one, doesn't matter. If I were still a kid, I literally would be wearing my Cardinal and Gold Trojan uniform to bed just so I could be ready the next day to go to practice. I'm not a kid anymore. Now I just show up to campus hours before practice is scheduled to start. So today it was Tuesday. It was scheduled to start at 2:30. It was such a perfect day. 72 degrees outside, blue skies, Cardinal and Gold colors everywhere. I said, go to campus, have some lunch. That's what I did. But the whole day started off great. I mean, I woke up, there was a message from Scott Schrader. Today was going to be a big news day for USC. Well, on top of spring camp opening, that meant basically there was going to be a major news announcement, which translates into USC's getting a commitment. It's recruiting news. I'm trying to focus on spring camp. Meanwhile, USC just keeps throwing all this great recruiting information in our direction, and I got to bring it to your attention. By the way, if you missed the first two shows this week, you missed out on Sean Alston, the running back from the state of Ohio. You missed out on the top lockdown cornerback in the state of California, Brandon Lockhart. Both of those guys talked to me one-on-one on Monday and Tuesday's episode of Locked On USC. So when you're done with this episode, go back, watch those. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. Both of those guys said SC's class of 2026, it's going to be epic. Well, today, before practice started, while I'm enjoying lunch, TomTom Topui, the big defensive tackle from Modern Day, who was committed to Oregon, you heard me correctly, was committed to Oregon. He decommitted. It hasn't happened officially yet, but it's happening. TomTom is ready to stay home and play for USC. His commitment is imminent. It's just a matter. I think right now we're just waiting for the commitment video edit. You know, those little videos that they put out. That's what we're waiting on right now. So that's going to make two flips. What am I doing here? Right on. Two flips from Phil Knight University. First, you had Jonas Williams, the quarterback. He's now a Trojan. TomTom will make that number 2, the defensive tackle. So you know what, Bear Alexander? If Oregon wants to take you for a year and they want to take Emmanuel Preyon for a year, fine. Let's complete the trade. USC can trade those guys to Oregon for 1 year, and USC can take a starting quarterback and one of the best players to come out of the modern day pipeline in a long time, defensive tackle TomTom Topui. Oh, and P.S., Oregon fan, there's at least one more in the pipeline who's committed to you right now, who's going to, when this decommitment happens, you're going to hate life even more than you're hating it today. So all that is happening before practice even started. And then guess who shows up to campus? TomTom. Yeah, he was there. I think he just wanted to kind of hang out, celebrate with his new teammates to be. He wasn't the only recruit on campus today. Brandon Arrington, he actually got to campus before TomTom. And by the time practice got underway, there were somewhere between close to 100 recruits that were just kind of chilling out at the place to be. Not sure what was going on. Maybe they came to practice. Wink, wink. But yeah, a lot of energy. A lot of stuff going on campus right now. As far as recruiting is concerned, right now, I think it's safe to say USC is putting its belt to everybody else's butts. They are just going out there and whipping, saying, what are you doing? That's not yours. That's ours. And now you got spring camp is underway. Team is ready to rock and roll. Like I said, it was a great day. I barely scratched the surface of spring camp day one. We're going to do that in the next two segments. But when you wake up and you know you've got a great day to look forward to, first day of spring camp, the guys are going to come out, shells and shorts, wearing their helmets. And then you're looking and say, oh, we got recruiting news. I thought we were going to get a day off from this. There are no days off. USC's recruiting staff, they are working. They are working there. They are like, they're doing dog work, as Coach Kenny would say. Yeah. It was, I think this was part of the plan. Ask TomTom to decommit opening spring camp, show up on campus. Brandon Arrington, another elite guy that USC's after. Hey, why don't you come show up? Give us this visual. It's not like they had to twist their arms. Those guys wanted to be there. And as far as all those other prospects that showed up, whether they're a class of 2026, 27, or 28, saw some cool guys to hang out with. So USC right now, it's the place to be. And for the next, I don't know, there's 14 more spring practice sessions. If you're a USC fan, I would anticipate seeing more of this because this feels like a plan. Chad Bowden had his game face on. He was walking around. Felt good. Happy New Year. Spring camp, day one, in the books. And we're going to talk about that now in the next couple of segments. So let's get to it. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades Supply House. Whether you're into plumbing, HVAC, electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources. And the latest product help info is going to help you get the job done right. Plus, Supply House gives you an inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 plus top brands. That way, you're going to find exactly what you need, and they're going to deliver it fast, and they can do it coast to coast. If you need help with an order, don't worry. Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, the free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and your electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, if you use promo code SH5, you're going to get 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. So as you can see here, I'm going to talk in the background. I'm just going to kind of let you observe as the guys approach Goo Gate, heading into camp, first day. I'm waiting for practice to start. And I'm literally, you see these guys, Before they showed up, I'm looking off in the distance. I'm amazed how far along the Bloom family football performance center is. It's a skeleton. Right now it looks like a skeleton that's being erected. All right, but the foundation is set. And all those drone shots, all those AI renderings that you've probably seen online, they do not do justice to just how big this facility is going to be. It's absolutely massive. By the way, 88, that's Floyd Boucard. Number 4, that's Jakeem Stewart. Those aren't your typical freshmen. As far as how big that facility is, Elijah Page, after practice, described new freshman offensive lineman Elijah Vicona. He used the words ginormously huge. I think that's a perfect way to describe the Bloom Football Performance Center. Oh, Cash Jacobson, number 98. Looks the part. He looks like a freshman, but you can see why USC wanted him and why Oklahoma wanted him so bad. Front of the show, Roman Marchetti, number 57. All right, so maybe there weren't 100 recruits. However, there were way too many to count. And this is what I'll say. The practice sidelines today, it reminded me of the old Pete Carroll days. There was a lot of energy. There were a lot of people hanging out. It looked cool. And I think the guys on the team really appreciated it as well. Besides the recruits and whoever else was hanging out, Woody Marks, Jameel Muhammad, they were part of day one's large crowd. Nobody wants to leave USC. Once you're part of the Trojan family, you want to be hanging out as often as possible. Just to remind everybody, Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days that the media will be allowed to attend practice. This week, it's the acclimation period, the first 2 days. But I did hear one of the assistant coaches say or tell one of the players, hey, Pats are coming on this Saturday. Be ready. So again, just a reminder, I'll be there Tuesday. I'll be there Thursday. The media is not allowed to be at practice on Saturday. Unfortunately, that's when the pads come on. And I know we don't get to see a lot. By the way, that's Prince Strawn, number 17, the wide receiver. I got a special note on that coming up here in a second. First guys out, you might have noticed. Nothing's changed. It's still going to be the special teams guys. So I was the first guy from the media on campus today. I promise you. First guy there. Tyler Robles, kicker. And I like to call him the Karate Kid. He wears that bandana tied around his forehead, kind of like the Karate Kid did. Ralph Macchio. Danielson. So it was Tyler and Ryan Sayeri. Those were the first 2 guys out. Hayden, I believe you pronounce it Chittenden. He's the kicker, the transfer from UNLV. He was the next one out. The first, and I'm going to use the words real player, the first player who doesn't play on special teams that I noticed was Justin Tauanu, at least the first offensive lineman. My first observation about him is how tall he is. We pointed that out last year. And he's got great shoulders. He's got the frame you want for an offensive tackle. He's coming along great. But his arms, he's got to get back in the weight room. Just keep developing those arms. That's all I'm going to say. That's not a knock on him, just an observation. I kind of anticipated maybe being a little bit more developed. But again, he's got long arms, so maybe it's a little bit harder to get that mass going up there. And I would say I have similar thoughts about true freshman wide receiver Corey Sims. He looks the part. I mean, he is every inch, 6'3", 200 pounds. But again, if he's going to play this year, he's got to get that arm strength going. You might have noticed Jamal Jarrett, number 0, Keyshawn Silver, number 9, Jade Albasiri, number 97, Anthony Lucas, number 6. I pointed out Floyd Boucard and Jakeem Stewart. Yeah. When Coach Henney came out, he had that proud papa look walking behind him. So if that was the pack of dogs that he's developing, he was just a proud papa watching his litter heading into camp, into practice, going into hunt. The size is just hard to miss. It really is. And again, I'm not sure if Jakeem and Floyd are supposed to look the way they look as freshmen because they look like seniors. I made this little comment in my notes and observations report over at wearesc.com. I tweeted it. Those guys look like they're walking around taking people's milk money. They're big dudes. They're intimidating. Anthony Lucas, Coach Riley touched on this after practice. That was Eric Gentry looking over and saying, "Hey, what's happening, Mark?" He's still recovering from that injury he had last year against Penn State. They're not going to put him at 100% during spring camp. They want to just kind of bring him along a little slowly, be smart about it was the actual words that were used and how they're going to handle him. But he's had a great recovery to this point. So I think they just want to use Anthony Lucas. You see all the guys walking right there. I don't think there was any USC coaches, so we're okay. Anyways, they're going to use Anthony Lucas is going to use spring camp, get back into shape, conditioning, non-contact drills. That was the takeaway from what Coach Riley was telling us. Now, you might have noticed Elijah Page, haircut. Apparently, Jaden Walker, linebacker Jaden Walker, is the team's barber. Unlike Samson, when he had his hair cut off, because Elijah Page is as big as Samson. When Samson had his hair cut, he lost strength. I asked Elijah about that. He said he's in good shape. He's strong. Don't worry about it. He's feeling good. When I saw Elijah's new haircut, I got to be honest. I'm not going to lie. It's okay. But some of you are going to some of you are old enough to remember the Flowbee. Elijah Page looks like he has the Flowbee cut right now. So maybe Jaden Walker is a good barber. He ain't touching my hair. That's all I'm going to say. I mentioned wide receiver Prince Strawn. He's 6'5", 205 pounds. He looks bigger than that. And I was talking to Eric McKinney, my partner in crime over there at wearesc.com, one of the hosts of the Inside the Trojan Huddle panel show that I will be recording tomorrow. He said, "You know what, Mark? He reminds me of Tyler Vaughns." And I was like, "Dude, you're right. He does. He's 100% correct. He looks like Tyler Vaughns." So on that note, I was watching him during the warm-ups, when the wide receivers were running routes. And I'll tell you, do not be surprised if he fights his way and earns a spot in the rotation. Do not be shocked. He looks like he gets it. He's not a freshman or a sophomore. He was like one of the dudes at Boise State. It looks like he's ready to take that next step. Also, during the wide receiver warm-ups, when they were, basically they're going against air, running in certain routes with the quarterbacks. Chad Savage, inside receivers, tight ends coach. One of the things he was today's teachable moment with the wide receivers on the deep fade routes. It was late hands. That's what he was coaching. In other words, don't show the defender the ball's on this way. Wait till that last second. Late hands. Flash them, catch the ball. Don't let the defender know. As usual, the very first position groups that we're going to see when we walk in through Googate is Anthony Jones Jr. and Coach Doherty. Luke Heward is also involved, working with special teams. So Coach Jones I caught him with Eli Sanders, Mekhi Lemon, Jay Fair, Waymon Jordan, Xavier Jordan as well. Those guys were working with the jugs machine, kickoff. Two things I want to point out. Eli Sanders, the 1,000-yard rusher that transferred from New Mexico. He's originally from Southern California. He's not big. I mean, I don't think anybody was under the impression that he was, but he's like Chad Morton size, Zachariah Branch size. He wears the jersey number 1. Without a doubt, he is going to be the change of pace running back, the speed back. And then Waymon Jordan. Whoa, he's a lot thicker than I thought. I mean, he's a slightly taller version. Remember Trojans bowling ball running back Curtis Moody McNeil? That's him. He's got that lower body. He's got a lot of junk in the trunk. He's got a low center of balance. He's going to be hard to bring down. It was Rob Ryan's first day of practice at USC, coaching up the linebackers. Loved watching that. You see him walking through Goo Gate. His belly is always going to be 3 feet ahead of him. That is just who he is. He got that hair. I like what I saw when they took us over down to linebacker land. They basically, one of the drills, it has the guys hitting the sled individually, and literally Coach Ryan is saying, hit it, toss it aside. Hit it, toss it aside. And then he wants you, running after the tackling donut. I'll get you some video of some of the drills on the next episode of Locked On USC. I got some of that in the can. So whether it's on Thursday or Friday, you're going to see some position drills. I just got to get it loaded up. So anyways, Rob Ryan, he's making his voice known out there. So far, he's not one of those, in-your-face guys, but he says it, you hear it, you do it. And look, I'm not even close to being done yet. I still got another segment to go. I've got some notes and quotes in the next segment, including a really intriguing quarterback quote from Coach Riley. Trovon Reed, love watching him working with the defensive backs. He's already got command of those guys. One more segment to go. Every now and then you're going to check your bank account and you're going, where did all that money go? What did I spend it on? Well, you probably spend it on eating out like I do, shopping, entertainment. It's easy to lose track. It really is. That's where Monarch Money comes in. It's like having your own personal chief financial officer giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place so you can stop managing your money and start building your wealth. You're going to love the all-in-one convenience. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track your spending, and even plan long-term goals. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com, and you're going to get 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. After practice, Coach Riley talks to the media. This happens every Tuesday. He talked about the quarterback position just a little bit. And he said Jaden Mayava is showing more confidence in himself as a player, especially after he took over the starting role. He said last year was a really unique situation. He mentioned that Mayava has been more confident and more assertive since he's kind of taken over. He is the incumbent right now. He is QB1 until further notice. But he also said that true freshman Husan Longstreet doesn't appear to be like your typical true freshman. Quote, Longstreet did well to take advantage of being a local recruit by spending as much time as allowable on campus with the team last year. So it's paid off. He is way further ahead than most true freshmen in his position. What's your takeaway from that? Mine? That wasn't a throwaway line. That wasn't, just to give the media something to chew on to boost Longstreet's confidence. I've been talking about it through this entire offseason. Do not be surprised if right now, though, Jaden Mayava is your starting quarterback. Speaking of Longstreet, Elijah Vacona, he's already blocking for him. On their way to practice today, they look like BFFs. Elijah was making sure that Husan did not get in front of him. He kind of put a left arm bar in front of him. Said, I got you. You're protected. Something else Coach Riley said after practice regarding Jaden, and I think this is a great insight. Kind of, and I understand this because I'm my own harshest critic as well. You don't have to tell me when I make a mistake. I will tell myself 100 times. And then when the camera's off, I'll be kicking my ass all over the place. Jaden is his own harshest critic. And when you get into that zone, it's hard to get out of that zone. You got to be able to focus on the next play, especially as a starting quarterback. So that's what Jaden's working on. His part of his leadership skills is making sure that he can put whatever happened bad behind him, just look forward, play that next play, because the team's looking to him. So he's got to be able to show that leadership. Speaking of leadership, I asked Coach after practice, who were some of the younger guys who've been around for a couple of years now that are filling that leadership void left behind. And Coach Riley didn't hesitate. He goes, Killian O'Connor, Kamari Ramsey, Jaden Mayaba, Eric Gentry. He said both Desmond Stevens, Christian Pierce, they're showing the qualities of stepping into that role. So that's a good thing. Coach Riley also wanted to make sure that he mentioned that that Christian Pierce last year was one of special teams' best players, and he's really looking forward to him being able to carve out a role. And there's going to be that he feels more comfortable with the depth at safety this year. That was the guys who were coming in, and I don't think that he was knocking Achille Ramsey. Achille Ramsey. I apologize. Achille Arnold. But, I mean, with Kamari Ramsey returning, the transfer Bishop Fitzgerald coming over from North Carolina State, Christian Pierce, and the guys you got coming in, he feels good right now. Someone else USC fans are going to feel good about, redshirt junior defensive lineman, Devin Tompkins. He wears jersey number 8 now. He dropped Cash Jacobson is wearing jersey number 98. All of a sudden, Devin Tompkins looks like one of those first guys off the bus. I don't know if it's because he's wearing a single digit, but he looks like a dude. And as I mentioned, also Coach Trevon Reed, he's got command of that group. At one point during one of the drills, he stopped the guys, stopped the rotation, gathered everybody around. Hey, make sure everybody understood the drill, what the speed of the practice, the pace was, what the assignment was. Got everybody reorganized, so to speak. Hopefully, the only group I really didn't get a good view of course, is going to be the offensive line. It's just the way it is. Maybe one day we'll get a better view. But today it was all about checking out how the defensive linemen were being coached up by Coach Henney and Coach Nua. Again, a lot of typical stuff you see. Hit the sled, chase the tackling donut. But you got to have your technique down. Same thing with the linebackers. The defensive backs, they were doing some shell drills, a little bit of 2-on-3 type of stuff, just running through some motion type of stuff. Nothing they're going to show us that we're going to say, oh, here's the scheme they're running. And if you're looking who's running with the 1s and 2s, doesn't matter right now. It does not matter right now. Here's what you need to know. Starting left tackle, Elijah Page. Starting right guard, Alani Noah. Presumptive starting right tackle, Tobias Raymond. That's it. After that, everything is wide open besides, Jacoby Lane, Mekhi Lemon at wide receiver. Jaden Mayaba is your QB1. You have a Kamari Ramsey starting at safety. Eric Gentry, Desmond Stevens, your linebackers. After that, who cares? You got spring camp to figure it out, and then you're going to have a lot more after spring camp to make sure you have it figured out when you get into fall camp. Whew. Okay. Trust me, there's a lot more. But we got Locked on USC all week, and I'm going to keep you updated. So make sure you're checking out those episodes that you missed this week. If you did, Brandon Lockhart, Sean Alston, here you go. Spring camp. TomTom Topui, ready to become a Trojan. Who's next? I will be back with another episode of Locked on USC tomorrow. So until then, everyone, don't forget, you know what to do.